So I'm sure we can all relate to the feeling we get after hitting a very big goal. I mean, you hear congratulations and you're kind of on this high, right? And then the congratulations, they become far and few, and the novelty begins to wear off. You find yourself asking, okay, what's next? Especially if you're a type A person like me. So I found myself doing this right after I graduated college. I mean, if you're a new grad and you graduated between the last 2 years, then you're probably kind of in this weird phase where you're trying to figure out life. And you're in the real world now, and no longer are you operating in semesters and months, you're operating in years and decades. And I'm here to tell you that it's completely normal to feel at least a bit uncertain about your path. I mean, this is real life, you only get one. I am feeling this a bit less now, thankfully, but a year and probably a half ago, which is when I graduated, I was feeling this at its highest. I think it was because I never really truly sat down and asked myself, okay, how do I want to measure my life? And I realized that I hadn't, and chances are you probably haven't either. But that's fine, whether you want to admit it or not, it's okay. And I've spoken about this on the channel before, but this is kind of when I discovered values and really tapping into the things that you truly believe in, separate and apart of what society says that we should adhere to and strive to achieve. The key to living a fulfilled, whole, deep life is to be connected to your values and your passions. This was something that really helped me a lot, and it's personality tests. I feel like personality tests get such a bad rap, but I think it's because we don't necessarily know how to use them. In this video, I'm going to be going through the 3 personality tests that I took to help clarify some things. I've always been a girly that loves psychology, and these science-based tests really help to confirm some things that I already knew within my gut, and I'm hoping that by the end of this video, those can do the same for you. So let's just hop right into the video with the first personality test that I took. Okay, so the first personality test that I took is called the DISC assessment, and I took this a few years ago. It reads that the DISC assessment evaluates an individual's behavior and communication style. It categorizes individuals into 4 primary personality types: dominance, D; influence, I; steadiness, S; and conscientiousness, C. So for this personality test, I landed as a persuader. So that means my 2 most prominent bars were in dominance and in influencing. It says Chelsea can be aggressive and direct, but still be considerate of people. Other people realize that directness is one of her great strengths. Most people see her as a high-risk taker. Her view is nothing ventured, nothing gained, and she's often frustrated when working with others who do not share the same sense of urgency. She's often considered daring, bold, and gutsy. She's a risk taker who likes to be seen as an individualist. Now this is long, so it's about 3 paragraphs, and it gives you as an entire report. Let's go on to the other part that says descriptors. Okay, it shows dominance. I have most of my traits in the dominant sector, which describes me as venturesome, decisive, competitive, determined, strong-willed, and pioneering. And then the influencing sector, which is trusting, optimistic, poised, and convincing. For these personality tests, you'll usually get this when you're onboarding for a job or joining a new team, or even before you're hired as a part of your interview process to kind of figure out, okay, what type of person you are and how will you kind of fit into the team and what would you bring to the table. They even give you areas for improvement. So this test was overall pretty good, and I give it a solid 9 out of 10. Let's move on to the next test that I took. The Clifton Strengths or Strength Finders. Going into the definition here, the Clifton Strengths test focuses on identifying an individual's strengths and talents. It assesses 34 different strengths across 4 domains: executing, influencing, relationship building, and strategic thinking. It aims to help individuals understand and leverage their unique strengths and talents for personal and professional success. Love it. Very simple. So let's dive into my Clifton Strengths test. And how I found these personality tests, you may ask. I don't remember. I think I just Googled and went down a rabbit hole and popped up with them. It breaks it down into 34 strengths and ranks them from 1 to literally 34. So I'm going to go through my top 5 and show what part of the 4 different parts or categories they fall into, and let's see if I agree. My first strength was input, which falls under the theme of strategic thinking, and that theme helps you absorb and analyze information to help you to make decisions. Input, that's interesting, which means I have a need to collect and archive information, ideas, artifacts, or even relationships to help me make decisions. Okay, the second strength, positivity. That's funny, and this falls under the relationship building theme. So it says you have a contagious enthusiasm, you are upbeat and can get others excited about what they are going to do. Oh, that's cute. Okay. Number 3, competition. You measure your progress against the performance of others and you strive to win first place and revel in contests. That is a fact. Moving on. The next theme, which is my top 4, is called activator. It says you can make things happen by turning thoughts into actions. You want to do things now rather than simply talk about them. Oh my gosh, if this is not the truth, that's so true. Wow. And then my last top 5, strength maximizer. That's interesting. You focus on strengths as a way to stimulate personal and group excellence. You seek to transform something strong into something superb. Okay, that's interesting. 3 out of the 5 fall under the theme of influencing. So it says you lead with influencing Clifton strength themes. Influencing themes help you take charge, speak up, and make sure others are heard. Wow, that sounds like me. So I think this is pretty spot on. And then it kind of ends with kind of a roundup of how you can use your top 10 strengths to take action. This was probably my favorite personality test. I'll link all of these below so that you can also, if you're interested, do these tests. All right, so the last but not least, personality test of them all. The 16 personalities, or Myers-Briggs. I know if you've dabbled in the world of personality testing or psychology, then you've probably heard of it. The Myers-Briggs type indicator, or the 16 personalities test, is based on the Myers-Briggs personality type indicator. It classifies individuals into 16 different personality types based on 4 different dimensions: extroversion, introversion, sensing or intuition, thinking versus feeling, judging versus perceiving. And it focuses on understanding individual preferences in perception and judgment. So that was kind of a lot. But basically, if you've ever heard persons asking, what's your personality type? And then someone says like 4 letters, like ISTJ or ENTP, then this is what they're referring to. I took the test. It's free, and afterwards it gave me the 4 different letters and kind of broke down where I fell with regards to those letters as percentages. My personality type is the protagonist, ENFJ-A, which means assertive. And in the 4 different parts, for the first part, it means that I have an E, which means that I'm extroverted versus introverted. I landed 73% there. For the second letter, which is N, it meant that I am intuitive versus observant. For F, means that I operate more with feeling versus thinking. J, which is the first letter, meaning I scored more on the judging side versus prospecting. Dun, 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 dun. The protagonist. Introduction. Protagonists feel called to serve a greater purpose in life. Not them getting me from the first sentence though. Anyways, thoughtful and idealistic, these personality types strive to have a positive impact on other people and the world around them. They rarely shy away from an opportunity to do the right thing, even when doing it is far from easy. Protagonists are born leaders, which explains why these personalities can be found among many notable politicians, coaches, and teachers. Wow. Their passion and charisma allows them to inspire others, not just in their careers, but in every arena of their lives, including their relationships. Few things bring protagonists a deeper sense of joy and fulfillment than guiding friends and loved ones to grow into their best selves. Wow, that's interesting. Protagonist strengths. So they have 5 here. Protagonists are receptive, so we don't like letting people down. Wow. Passionate. Protagonists are far from being boring do-gooders. These types brim with interests and they take great pleasure in pursuing their hobbies. Facts, facts, facts. Let's go into the weaknesses. Protagonists can be unrealistic. They can put pressure on themselves to right every wrong that they encounter. Wow. They can be overly idealistic. They can be condescending or come off as condescending. So trying to teach others, especially about causes and beliefs that matter a lot to them. And that can come off as patronizing. Wow. They can be sometimes intense. Guys, the sentence here literally says, when it comes to self-improvement, protagonists are rarely short of energy or determination, but they may not recognize that not everyone shares these qualities. At times, protagonists may push others to make changes that they aren't ready for or simply aren't interested in making in the first place. Wow. Okay, point taken. And then lastly, protagonists can be overly empathetic. So overall, I think this test was very, very comprehensive. It kind of hit the nail on the head. As you can see, I'm kind of speechless and stunned. Overall, I'd rate this one like a 10 out of 10. What now? How do we use these personality tests to really help us to live a life that will make us fulfilled? I think the first thing is taking the time to read and go through it. What I did was kind of like ask people to like send the test to them and say, hey, does this sound like me or is this missing the mark? So that's one. You can do a gut check to see if this really sounds like you. A lot of the different personality tests I took, some of them completely missed the mark, which is fine. But these were the 3 main ones that did what they were supposed to do. Thirdly, bringing up the Young and Thriving Planner, because before we set goals, we have a page that talks about how to really make sure that you're in tune with your values. And I think using these to tie back into that exercise where you think about the values that you have and then tie them into the goals that you want to set is that combination, chef's kiss. Because one, you have like science-backed evidence to say, okay, these are the things that I actually care about, and then you can go into goal setting and into your year or whatever you're doing with that knowledge and awareness in mind. Lastly, the questions that I'm happy that I can more confidently answer now are the following. How do I show up in the world and how do I present to the world? I knew I was extroverted, but I didn't necessarily know how much I could use that as like a strength. I know that I would prefer to work on a team rather than doing work that I need to do alone. 2, these kind of allowed me to bring awareness to how I make decisions, and this is linked to the Myers-Briggs test. It's more knowing that I make decisions with my like gut and my feeling rather than looking at all the input and details. Knowing about the strengths and how to use them is just opening a whole different world of possibilities and opportunities. I can make decisions that are more suited towards me. To end this video, I want to empower you to go out, take these tests, really take the time to ingest, digest, think through, analyze, talk about, obsess over them, because it's you, it's your life, and then be empowered to make decisions based off them. Let me know how that goes in the comments below. So really hope you enjoyed this video. I sure did, and I hope to see you in the next one. Until next time, with love from Chels. Bye.